The EERC is in its 10th year, and annually the club seems to enjoy more and more success, at the same time ensuring the quality is there to complement the quantity. Take last year, for example, and Belgian Bill, who provided the syndicate with its second carnival success, a victory that clearly delighted syndicate manager Justin Byrne.
Yeah, it was great. When we did the deal to buy Belgian Bill, part of the deal was that when he came out here, he'd run in our colours, and in the UK, he'd run in Daniel's colours. And then he didn't come out the first season, and to be honest, I completely forgot about it. And in all fairness, it was Daniel and George Baker who said, "Oh, we need your colours for Dubai." And I was like, "Oh yeah, we did that deal, didn't we?" And then he come out and his first run in our colours, he wins, which was very lucky.
Carnival hopes this season will not just hinge on Belgian Bill, and there are several new faces in town that Justin has high hopes for.
He was racing over in France. He was owned by Con, who's a very well-known pin hooker. And I get on quite well with Con, and in the past he's recommended 2 or 3 to me. At the Ascot sale, the pre-Royal Ascot meeting sale, I bumped into him, we were having a drink, and he said that he'd got a horse going into Newmarket sale that we should look at, and he said he'd be very successful and would be a good ideal Dubai horse. He thinks he'll go on the dirt. He recommended him to us. We went and looked at him, myself and Doug. We liked what we saw. He's a good looking animal. To be honest, I thought it'd be out of our price range. And then we went in for him. And in all fairness, Con had said that, you know, what he was going to run him up to for other people. And I laughed and I said, "Well, you won't be able to run me up that high." He said, "No, if you're bidding, I won't bid." He said, "If you bid, if you're genuinely looking at buying him, I won't bid against you."
And he comes into Dubai Carnival rated, you mentioned?
Yeah, he's 96 rating, which just gets him in at the bottom end, but he's only a 3-year-old, and he's certainly got improvement in him, as most 3-year-olds have. And he's a lovely, big animal, big backside, ideal for, you know, dirt, possibly Jebel Ali, and he's got the turf form already. So hopefully it could be quite exciting. He's 7 or 8 runs. He's only been out the top 3 once, or the money once, so he's very consistent. We particularly wanted a maiden because the prize money for the maidens at Maidan this year is exceptional, and we liked the idea of getting a maiden. We like the breeding. It's very American dirt bred. He was an expensive yearling, and we did all right with the last very expensive yearling we brought cheap, which is this lad here. He was a $500,000 yearling, and we picked him up for 15,000, I think, and he's turned out to be okay. So we were hoping to do the same with Tedderock. We wanted a Mark Johnson horse because Doug's been very, very successful with Mark Johnson horses, Jutland, Henry Clay, to name a couple. So we liked the idea of that. So everything about him was nice. He looked a bit stiff at the sale. He was walking a bit stiff. We thought he'd need a bit of time. But since he's been here, he's turned around very quickly. And he's looking okay. He's training fine. He doesn't train as if he's got any issues. And we think he could be quite nice. Obviously, the horses that came across from England are a little bit behind the horses that have been based here all summer. So we maybe think possibly the first Maidan. If not, then definitely the second Maidan. Doug loves pivotals. I mean, he's done really well with them, Faulkner being the obvious one. One-man band won for him last year, and he's got a couple of other pivotals. Pivotal was actually very successful here last year with the limited number of runners he had. He does look like the type of horse that would do well on dirt, and Doug had spotted him, and he was with Rafe Beckett, who I had horses with my other syndicate in the UK. And I asked Rafe about him and just sort of said to him, has he got any issues? And all he said is, yeah, he doesn't like turf. And then we watched his runs at Southall, which were exceptional. He looks a completely different animal on the Southall going compared to, you know, turf racing. He looks a bit, ugh. And then on Southall he won both very, very comfortably. Rafe did suggest that maybe he could do with being gelded, which we did straight away in the UK. And I think he could be a lot of fun. Well, we had Wayne Rooney many years ago, who was very successful for us, and we did very well out of him. You know, we We sold him for more than double of what we brought him. He earned his money while we'd got him, so he was very successful that side for the syndicate. Plus half the races are for purebreds in Dubai, so you need a couple. If you want to go to Abu Dhabi or Sharjah or any of those places, a lane opening up and having good prize money, you need to have those horses. Harkin was recommended by Tig and Ernest, who had left Al Sail, and said that they gave us 3 or 4 that they thought would be nice. We went to the sale, looked at Harkin and picked him straight away. He was the one that myself, Rebecca, and even our daughter Brooke loved straight away. He's turned around since he's been here. He's been absolutely, I mean, when you see him come out, he looks like a thoroughbred. We're really quite excited by him. He could be absolutely anything. He could be quite an exciting horse.
No quality sprint at Jebel Ali has been complete in recent years without Kilt Rock, and the importance of club favourites such as him and a few others is certainly not lost on Justin.
It's one of those that every summer he seems to just get better and better, and he defies logic. He's won 7 for us, and we're hoping, I'd love him to win 3 more before we retire him. He'll never be sold. He's a family pet now. He'll run the first meet at Jebel Ali. And apart from the season he won 4 in a row, I've always thought he needed his first run. But obviously the season when he won 4 in a row, he was very well handicapped compared to what he was at the end of that year. But I think the breathing's always affected him as well. He is, don't get upset with me, but he is a bit of a clever workhorse. He just does enough. He does what he needs to. So he often needs that run just to get himself right. But I think with the breathing, now having had that fixed, there's a fair chance that he could be a little bit better this year first run. So it wouldn't surprise me to see him run a big race. First night, he had the same problem as this lad. He had the same problem with the breathing. So we did the breathing up at the end of last season for him because he was running through it. He seems to have come out of it really well. Hopefully he'll go back to his first season form where he won 3 for us and picked up a couple of seconds. But I mean, he's a lovely horse. He's very genuine on the track, and he'll run first meet as well. And we're very hopeful that he'll, I think before we brought him, he'd only had 1 run, maybe 2 runs out of the prize money, but didn't win very often. Where now he wins more, and he's had a couple of runs out of the prize money, but that happens when you go up in the handicap.
Misbah and Tygo Che win the first of a new season.
We were quite chuffed when he won. We were very, very happy. But it was also good fun to be the leading owner for 30 seconds, or 2 races, however long it was. He's only had the prize money once last year, and that's when he was drawn 16 of 16 in the car park. I think we overran him last year, if I'm going to be honest. I think we probably made an error, and we didn't know him that well. It was his first season. So this year we'll space his races out a little bit more and maybe give him 3 weeks, 4 weeks in between races rather than bring him back after every 2 weeks. But he's, even with his season last year of only being out the prize money once, his handicap mark is pretty similar to where he started last year. He'll start in the same race off bottom weight, and we're going to try and do the same again. Kokomo was recommended to us by Mickey Kettle and has done very well. She's a lovely little horse and a lot of improvement. When she won last year by, I think it was 7 lengths at Sharjah, the first thing Pat Dobbs said as he was coming in, he said, if she ever learns what she's doing, she could be quite good. She just won by 7, Pat, and he's like, yeah, but she hasn't got a clue. So if you can win by 7 and not know what you're doing, there's a chance she could be okay. We got him down the handicap. Melvin was very fair to the horse last year. His first 2-3 starts he was struggling. And now he's at that level where I think he can be competitive. I don't know how many he'll win because the way he runs, puts his neck on the line. I fancy him first time out though. I fancy him in Maidan first meeting. I think I'm not saying he'll win, but I reckon he'll be coming back into the parade ring with us. Definitely, yeah.
Shamel Nai Brass takes the lead. the syndicate cheers. Chamel Nybras forges clear.
He was a great purchase last year, did really, really well for us, and he could run into a nice listed win this year. I think he was very unlucky that the Jebel Ali Mile was cancelled on him when it was, and then he just, that 6 weeks difference from when it was to when it should have been, he just went over the top a little bit. We had him primed for that race, and he could be quite an exciting horse.
You're approaching your 50th winner, so who's it going to be?
Well, I'd love it to be this lad, but if it's not, Chamel Nybras would be a nice one. So I think Misbar's got a chance. Kokomo will have a chance in her first runner if she goes to Sharjah. So it could be any of them, but I just want to get the 50th on the board so it's done and dusted.